mums, and welcome back to Get Me Library. Today we're doing a book review on Children of Blood and Bone. They killed my mother, they took our magic, they tried to bury us, now we rise. Zélie remembers the soil of Orisha hammered with magic. When different clans ruled, burners united flames, tiders beckoned waves, and Zélie's mother, Reaper Mother, summoned forth souls. But everything changed the night magic disappeared. Under the orders of the ruthless king, anyone with power was targeted and killed, leaving Zélie without her mother and her people, without hope. Only the few people remained in the power to use magic, and they must remain hidden. Zélie is one such person. Now she has a chance to bring back magic to her people and strike against the monarchy. With the help of the Rogue Princess, Zélie must learn to harness her power and outrun the Crown Prince, who is hell-bent on eradicating magic for good. Danger lurks in Orisha, where strange creatures prowl and vengeful spirits wait in the waters. Yet the greatest danger must be Zélie herself, as she struggles to come to terms with the strength of her magic and her growing feelings for the enemy. So, A Children of Blood and Bone, I finished it last night. It took me a day to read it. Well, just over a day, 2 days to read it because I was at work. And I couldn't put it down. I really, really enjoyed it. So, it started off okay for me. It had its slow bits and it had its fast bit, and it did pick up. So if you guys like something that's quick, fast paced, it won't be like that at the very beginning. So I don't think I'm going to be pronouncing these names right. I apologise, but as you know, my YouTube channel, I suck at pronouncing things. So let's just give it a go. So Zélie lives in a village with her father and her brother Tazan. Her father is called Baba. So in this village, she trains with a lady called Mama, and she learns how to wield the staff and defend herself. She has dark skin and white hair, so imagine Storm from X-Men. She is a daughter of a woman who was a Reaper. Now, back before her mother was killed, the gods gave certain people gifts. If you had this gift of magic, you would have white hair. That's how you would be, established as somebody that had magic. So obviously she has the ability to have magic. However, the king has taken away the magic from all of her people. Now, imagine you get treated badly. Now imagine you get treated even worse because you would be able to possess magic, but because you can't possess it anymore because it's been taken away, you can't fight back. So you are treated far worse than other people. Now the place hates magic. The whole of this kingdom hates magic. There are people that do like it, the ones that perhaps are a little bit lower, or they've had people taken away from them that can possess magic. But people around genuinely do hate magic. So if you look after people that perhaps could possess magic, or the magic was taken from them, or the children of those people, you are referred to as a maggot, and the people that look after them are referred as sort of like, not traitors necessarily, but you are probably treated as worse than the people that could possess this magic because you were looking after them, so technically you are worse. So one day Zélie stands up and says she's not having this anymore. And she goes into town with her brother to sell a fish to get money to help with her father, because the taxes are being raised. Every time they pay a tax, the tax goes up, so they're never able to pay that tax. It's not 100% told how Zélie's tutor, Mama, gets paid. We don't sort of go into that too much, but a lot of people around are either fishermen or they sell their trade in markets. So when Zélie's mother was murdered, her father basically broke down. He was a very, very strong man. He was beaten, and when he found out that his wife was killed, he just lost all his will to live, basically, and became a weak man. That doesn't mean they don't love him or see him as a strong man. He just basically became a weak man, and he's not able to go out and fish as much as he used to. They have to be with him at all times because he has these blackouts. So Zélie goes with her brother Tazan to the village, the local one, in Lagos. So it's all based in Africa and around there. While she's there, she finds that this person needs to get away from the guard. She helps this person. She later realises that this is Amory, who is the princess of the daughter of the king who killed her mother. The princess has stolen this magic scroll from her father, who took it from her nanny and killed her. And she takes this scroll away from him because basically she's so angry with him for what he has done. And she bumps into Zélie and her brother. They then embark on this journey to save magic. Now, her father has sent her brother, Nan, to bring back her with the scroll. And if he brings her back with just the guard that knows everything, he won't kill her. Because he sees her as a traitor, but he doesn't want anyone to know he's still her daughter, so he still loves her, I guess. Although we don't actually know what he would do later on. But it's implied that he has to go alone to get back his sister. So he is then trying to find them. He is catching up on them. They do have encounters and everything. And he's trying to get back this scroll and to get back his sister and bring her back. I mean, in his mind, he sees that she's run off with the scroll. He doesn't get why, but he sees the people that she's with are the ones that are keeping her from coming home. So he's trying to destroy magic, whereas the other three are trying to bring back magic. Now, although Anne-Marie doesn't possess magic herself, she doesn't like the fact that her nanny was killed for having magic. So she doesn't like what her father is doing. She's never left the palace. So in her eyes, what she sees is a little bit like in Aladdin when she goes out and she sees the street rats. Jasmine goes out and sees the street rats, and she realises that her kingdom is not as wonderful as she once thought it was. I know this is all technically down to Jafar and not her father, but she does go out and she does see this. So that's exactly what Anne-Marie does for herself. She sees her kingdom and she sees that it's not as wonderful as she thought it was. As her brother gets closer, she starts to realise that her brother is troubled. He follows his father's orders, but that is not necessarily the brother that he is. They've had their moments before where she and him have had a ruined relationship, but they're still very loyal towards each other. So that is basically what the story is about. Together as a four, it's about bringing back magic. One is trying to stop that magic from coming back, but they are all embarking on the same journey with the same location, the same scroll. Now with my review, I really enjoyed this book. It's a 4-star because I did really like it. I think the reason it isn't a 5-star is because there's a few things in this book that I didn't like. Now, I couldn't understand some of the enchantments that were made in the language that it was made. So it took me a little while to I sort of skimmed those bits because I didn't understand them. So it would have been nice to have had like an English translation to have understood what they were, because there was a lot of the magic in the books with incantations and I didn't understand them, and it wasn't stuff like magic of light and light of magic, and it didn't make sense. I just I couldn't read it. With the chapters, each chapter will be about a different person. So one will be about Zélie, one will be about Anne-Marie, and one will be about Inam. It took me a while because I was getting so into this book. I was on the chapter and then went on to the next one. It took me a while to be like, oh, hang on a minute, we're talking about somebody else. It would be like, oh, my father did this, or my father is following me. And I was like, are we still talking about Zélie? No, her father's not there. So it took me a few seconds. That doesn't mean that these aren't the reasons why I didn't give it a 5-star. I just think there was a lot of little things in that book that I couldn't give it a 5-star for. I don't know if I'm going to read the next one, and I think that's why I can't give it a 5-star. If I gave it a 5-star, I would want that book straight away. But I don't know if I'm going to read the next one. I loved that it was in a different country. I loved that the people were different. I loved the culture was different. It was nice to read a book about that. It was just the translation I didn't understand. There wasn't a bit at the back of the book where you could read the words and read the names to make sure you're pronouncing it right. I mean, in The Court of Thorns and Roses, it does have that, so you can pronounce Rysand right, you can pronounce Feyre right, you can pronounce some of the kingdoms. I mean, I know what Lagos is, I know where it is, I know the location, but if I'd never known where Lagos was, I may not think I'm saying it right. And although I'm really bad at pronunciation anyway, if I know how to say it, I will try and say it like that. So there's a few things in the book that were missing for me. But no, I really liked the characters. I liked Zélie to start with. There was a few moments where I thought, wow, she's a little bit mean. But then I really liked her at the end. I liked her relationship with Anne-Marie, and you can tell that they're going to be very close at one point. they're going to be like sisters. I like that Amory, although she was a princess, she wasn't one of those spoilt princesses. She was like Jasmine. She went out there and she was determined to do what she wanted to do. I like Zaylee's brother Tazan. I did at times like Amory's brother Inan. We hate the king, that is obvious. You can see at times the king is trying to do what he feels is best, but that doesn't mean that we like him. So that is the end of my Children of Blood and Bone. I hope you enjoyed the view. Let me know in the comments below if you've read it or if you haven't read it. I'm in a book club called The Howling Pack, which I spoke about last time, and I don't think I would have ever read this book if it hadn't have been in our book club. So yeah, I'm really enjoying our book club so far. I don't know what we're going to be reading in March, but this was a book for January, February, so I feel really good that I've read it before. So yes, at the moment I have read 5 books in my update of January, which I will be doing in my next video. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye!